Mayor Mamdani just lost it with one group of New Yorkers no one wants to mess with.
Mayor Mamdani, I give you a year. You are not a New Yorker. You have no clue.
Nobody cares about anything that you have to say. You are a failure of a man. Look, read my lips. You are a communist. You are a con man. Nobody believes a word out of your mouth. You lied. You said that you were going to give everybody free everything. You're not giving anybody anything. You're a con man. You're a con job. Everybody sees right through you.
And those are some of the kind of words people are saying about him. So what's the latest Mamdani gaffe that has all these New Yorkers riled up? You're not going to believe it. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, celebrating yet another glorious day in the Trumpian golden age that you made possible back in November 2024, long before Mamdani came onto the scene. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Right now, as we speak, Italian Americans all across the great city of New York are rising up against the already failed socialist embarrassment of a Marxist mayor, Zoran Mamdani. What happened is that just days ago, the Mamdani administration released what it called the New York City Immigrant Enclaves Tourism Guide. It's a map of 30 immigrant neighborhoods timed for the FIFA World Cup, with millions of international visitors pouring into the city. So it included Little Palestine, Little Yemen, Little Egypt, Little Senegal, Little Bangladesh. But it's not what it included that has so many riled up. It's what it excluded. If you look at the map, it deleted Little Italy. There is no mention of any Italy, little or big, at all. Again, just to bring this home, there's Little Guyana, there's Little Haiti, there's Little Pakistan, but there is absolutely no Little Italy, one of the most iconic immigrant neighborhoods in American history. Little Italy is widely considered a cultural landmark visited by millions of tourists annually. It's the birthplace of some of New York's most beloved culinary, artistic, and civic traditions, and it's the historic heart of an Italian-American community whose descendants now number over 17 million across the United States. Now, obviously, New York Italians weren't going to take that lying down, and the outrage over Mamdani's map swept throughout the community.
I don't consider you to be my mayor.
I think it's disgraceful for what he's doing. He's got to be fair to everybody, and he's not fair to everybody. He's not fair to the Jewish people, which he makes everybody notice he's not fair to the Jewish people. He's not fair to the Irish people, and now he hates the Italians. For what reason? What do we do to him that he should hate us?
They always sort of pushed us to the side. I got it, yeah. In other words, Little Italy, they take care of their own problems. And we're always pushed aside. And I think it's about time that we have to be firm about this. Otherwise, we'll totally be forgotten.
If you understand what took place here over 100 years ago, between 1880 and 1920, when the mass migration of Italian immigrants first came, this was the stepping stone for the Italians.
Well, the Bari family came here 120 years ago from Sicily. They were immigrants. They landed down in what's known as the 5 Points. Grandma started the San Gennaro Festival. That right up there, that is Grandma. That is Grandma. Grandma from the Bari family. Okay, she is the heart and soul of this neighborhood.
My grandfather was on the Society of St. Gennaro, which happens to be this year 100 years. So it means a lot to me, Little Italy, you know?
There's no such thing as left or right down here. Both sides of the street are beautiful.
Now, when Mamdani was confronted with this, he did what every noble politician always does. He deflected. He blamed his predecessor.
This map was initially created by the prior administration in 2023, and when we inherited it, we added a few additional neighborhoods. It's clearly not an exhaustive list of the more than 200 ethnic communities that call our city home, and we're going to be making additional changes in the future to reflect that, and that includes adding Little Italy to the map. Oh, Little Italy. Yeah.
Well, as you could see there in that press conference, he had no choice but to cave on this. The Italian-American Civil Rights League had organized a mass protest against Mamdani's omission. They weren't buying his deflections, especially given that he admitted that his own administration added enclaves to the map. So they did omit Little Italy. They failed to include Little Italy in their editions. And so with that kind of pressure, Mamdani caved. And Italian Americans won a big victory against this ridiculous third worldist posing as a legitimate mayor. But as it turns out, this Little Italy map controversy is the least of Mamdani's problems. This guy is facing what's nothing less than an economic crisis, the likes of which New York City hasn't seen in nearly a century. And unfortunately for him, he's not going to be able to dodge this one. But first, if you are one of the more than 50 million Americans who struggle with joint pain and arthritis, I mean, you know, even the simplest of movements can be so difficult. And while there is no known cure, experts agree that reducing inflammation is key to maintaining mobility, comfort, and quality of life. So that's why so many people are turning their attention back to one of the most studied and trusted medicines in the entire world, ivermectin. It's been prescribed globally for more than 30 years and even earned the Nobel Prize in Medicine for its proven ability to fight parasites while supporting overall health. New research also explores how it might help modulate inflammation, providing a foundation for immune and cellular balance. But here's something most people don't know. About 58% of the world's ivermectin supply actually comes from China and 75% from Asia overall. Not the wellness companies. Introducing American-made ivermectin, compounded and quality tested right here in the United States. You'll get an FDA-approved 6-month supply of 18 milligram tablets designed for 4 21-day parasite cleanse cycles, all for just $3.33 per tablet, far below what most pharmacies charge. Click on that link below right now or visit twc.health/Turley and use code Turley to save $44 off plus free shipping. Again, that's twc.health/Turley, helping Americans take charge of their health with confidence and care. The voters of New York City are finding out what buyer's remorse at a civilizational scale actually looks like. You see, Mamdani ran for mayor on one central promise above all others: affordability. He was going to make New York City livable again for working people. He was going to stick it to the rich. He was going to tax the billionaires, freeze the rents, build the affordable housing. It was a simple, seductive pitch. And New Yorkers, they bought it. So how's it working out for them? According to a new report from the Corcoran Group, one of the most respected real estate brokerage firms in the country, the median rent in Manhattan has risen under Mamdani to an all-time high of nearly $5,200 a month. That's a near 10% increase year over year. Brooklyn is up 8% to $4,400 a month. And in Queens, the cost of renting a studio apartment shot up over 20% in 1 year. The city comptroller, not a right-wing pundit, by the way, the city comptroller posted on X that New York City's housing affordability crisis is at DEFCON 1. Manhattan's vacancy rate has now narrowed to under 2%, with available listings down 16% year over year. You could literally slice the irony with a knife. The man who campaigned on making New York affordable has presided over the most expensive rental market in the history of the city. You genuinely cannot make this stuff up. But it gets worse, because while rents were soaring, the wealth was walking out the door. Back in April on tax day, Mamdani filmed himself outside Citadel CEO Ken Griffin's $100 million penthouse to announce a new pied-à-terre tax on luxury properties. Well, guess what Griffin's response to that was? What do you think he did? He scaled back New York City jobs. Apollo Global Management, one of the world's largest private equity firms, headquartered in Manhattan, they announced they're opening up a second headquarters in either Florida or Texas. And keep in mind, whenever companies do that, inevitably they end up in a mass exodus down to either Florida or Texas. And according to a new study, Metro New York has seen a dramatic exodus of millionaires over the last year, causing nearly $11 billion in lost tax revenue. 11 billion gone. Now, Mamdani's response to all of this, back in April, he called the threat of the wealthy leaving New York City an imagined exodus. At a tax day forum with economists Gabriel Zuckman and Joseph Stiglitz, he waved it all off, just completely dismissing the concerns of a number of economists that New York was going to go through a huge economic downturn with this mass exodus of wealth from the city. Well, the data is in now, and the data doesn't lie, and the data has a very different opinion than Mamdani. And the people paying $5,200 a month to rent in Manhattan, well, they've got a very different opinion than Mamdani. And the middle-class families who've already crossed the border for Jersey City or Connecticut or Pennsylvania, the people Mamdani himself acknowledged are being displaced, they have the most different opinion of all. Here's what this moment reveals. There are two completely different visions of what a city is, of what civilization itself is. One vision says your history is shameful. Your heroes are villains. Your legacy belongs on the cutting room floor unless we approve of it. It maps your city and it erases the Italians who built it. It taxes the people who employ you and watches them leave and calls it progress. It promises you affordability and delivers the most expensive rental market in the history of the city. It calls the wealth exodus imagined while the moving trucks are pulling out of the parking garage. The other vision says, your history is sacred. Your ancestors who came with nothing and built something deserve to be on the map. And the people who fund the city's schools, its fire departments, and social services, they're not the enemy. They're the engine. Mamdani tried to erase the Italians. The Italians refused to be erased, and they won. Now, the rest of New York City needs to decide what they're going to do before the mayor, this Marxist mayor, erases something that can't be put back on a map. You've got enough on your plate. You shouldn't have to babysit the news cycle, too. Let me carry that noise for you. I'll sift it, I'll watch it, and I'll tell you what really matters for your home so you can lead in peace, not panic. Hit the link below to get my Patriot Alerts and let me help you protect your family with clarity every single day.